Hello, hello. This is Chris Jantzen. This is the End Evil podcast. Evil is the destruction of freedom. God, my background's not looking so great today, but it is what it is. I decided to come on live just for a little bit to talk to you folks today because I got some stuff on my mind and I have a video to show for you today that's about 20 minutes, and I like to run the End Evil podcast for about an hour. The End Evil podcast is based on the book, The End of All Evil by Jeremy Locke. If you haven't yet read this book, I highly recommend checking out The End of All Evil by Jeremy Locke. You can download it for free online if you just take a quick look around. It's like really expensive to buy, but it's easy to find and it's easy to get the PDF. Just type in The End of All Evil by Jeremy Locke and it'll come right up. You can also find more information about that book on my website, andevil.life. So what I was going to talk a little bit about is the efforts to become a freedom activist and the difficulty that we face in this world at this time, and that this time that we're in is an extremely difficult time to be living in, but it's an important time, and there's some very important work that is to be done. And I want to encourage all of you to be doing this work in the world. And what I mean by this work, I'm talking about the one great work, which is essentially, for most of us, the inner work of becoming a better person, of becoming a person that cares about important principles, such as the understanding of natural law. When I first was exposed to natural law was when I was listening to the podcast, What on Earth is Happening by Mark Passio. At that particular time in my life, I had a government job of all things. I was working as a maintenance man at the Superior Court where I live in California. I thought it was a great job to have because it was secure, it was solid. And I think many people are looking for security and a solid life, and they want to take care of their family and their children, and they see that as being the most important thing. And what I want to talk a little bit about is what really is the most important thing in our lives and at this time in history. And that is something that is bigger than just ourselves. And that is, behind me, you see a picture of the tree of life. And the reason I use the tree of life symbol for the End Evil podcast is because it symbolizes to me the interconnectedness of all life in this reality. Some of my greatest experiences in life have been spending time in nature. Nature is what I tend to call the living Bible. I grew up personally in Christianity, and in my experience, Christianity, as well as other religions, they tend to tell a lot of stories. And in those stories, people get fooled and they go down all kinds of paths of thinking, and they form all kinds of ideas in their heads, constructs. And what we have is belief systems. And part of the problem with belief systems is they lead people astray down many, almost like pairs of glasses, you can imagine, looking at reality through glasses that have different colored lens or opaqueness. But when we really look at what reality actually is this experience of experiencing morality. What are we as humans? You know, we have this boundary of our own skin. We have this life where we interact with other individuals. We have this opportunity with each moment to take actions and to engage in this reality, to affect things in the real world. And that is an amazing opportunity, and it is of incredible value. It's easy in this lifetime because of the what we're surrounded by, with all this technology, with all these screens, with all these other people doing things, to minimize our value and to minimize what we are as human beings. But what I want to do today is encourage you to maximize your life, to maximize your experience, and to make the most of this time you have right now, right now, right now. That's the only thing that's real. Things from the past are things that are not real anymore. Things from the future that haven't happened yet aren't real yet. But right now, in this moment, this is reality. And to me, that is the essence of what God is. I tend to not use the word God because people get it all confused with what religions tout. And they get it all confused with all these stories. And these are things that none of us can be completely sure of. As much as you can study stories from the past and look at different books, none of it is 100% and can be confirmed. But what we do know with all certainty is that the moment we're in right now, this reality that we're experiencing is divine. It is real. And there's opportunity in this moment. So I want to encourage you to seize the day. And one way I'm going about doing that in my life is reaching out to other people. I've done this and evil podcast for quite some time now, and it's all been done from my heart, from my care of principles, from my care of natural law, from me realizing that there's major problems in the world, that evil is a predominant force, that evil has taken over our whole world, and that there's so much evil going on that people get it confused even with good, and it's hard for them to see the difference. But those of us that have spent a lot of time thinking about philosophy and thinking about what really matters, we begin to realize that what we think and the way we act does matter and it does affect reality. I've often described, if you stand by a lake and you throw a rock, and when that rock hits the water, it creates ripples that spread out. Well, everything you say and everything that you do in this life is like that rock hitting that water, and it affects everything around us. Hence the tree of life behind me, where the roots and the branches and the leaves and the ground around it are all important aspects of the nature of reality that I call the divine all. And we have a job to do while we're here in this life. And it's not just to experience, we also have the ability to respond to things. And that is our responsibility to take life and to use it to its fullest. So some of the ways we can do that are by looking at with things that are difficult with an open mind, and to re-look at things that we've already thought we knew everything about, and to keep reconsidering things. And so this really comes into play in our connection to other human beings and how we respect other human beings and how we deal with other human beings. We only have so many opportunities with each being we meet to make things right and to deal with the reality of the situation. Now, all of us have had difficult relationships and difficult situations we've dealt with in our life, and each of these leave a lasting impression. We can either be traumatized by difficult relationships, or we can learn from them and go into future relationships and be able to behave better. So this is really the work that we each have to do, is to analyze ourselves and the actions and the deeds we do, and to think about how they affect others. Now, if we steal from people, we're obviously doing wrong. If we take things that aren't ours, we're obviously doing wrong. We can see this on a personal level, and we can see this in the way we see other people deal with people that we love. Now, comes time where we have to draw boundaries. And when people are aggressive and rude, sometimes we have to stop talking to them or give ourselves some space and distance from those people. Now, we know that the people in the world that are running things right now are often what we would describe as psychopathic. We know this because there's plenty of evidence of slavery in the world, of people stealing. This happens in the form of taxes. This happens in the form of people being thrown in jail for not paying their taxes. This happens in the form of people being thrown in jail for growing a plant, or this happens in the form of people's freedom being taken away in the censorship, like we see on social media platforms. This also happens in, like normal stealing, but that's like the smallest extent is, like someone stole your purse or something like Obviously, that's wrong. We know that's wrong. But when it's done on a mass scale and repeated over and over and supported by the masses of all people, what we see as government is one of the worst evils in the world because it can do its mass stealing on such a large extent that it can steal from hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people at once and then use that stolen money to go kill, maim, destroy, and support the slavery of hundreds of thousands of other people. So, learning to start differentiating between good and evil is a process that we all go through. Now, when I first came to these realizations about evil and how embedded they are in our society and even in the religions that I thought were good growing up, I began to realize that I had to rethink everything in my life. And this was a very difficult process. And I know many people are going through a similar process now, especially since COVID, where many people have began to pull back the curtain of reality and see how much of their reality has been formed by evildoers and how much corruption there is in the levels of government and in the levels of religion and even in the levels of school, which has become basically indoctrination camps to teach people to abide by the rule of authority rather than the inherent nature based divine rule of freedom, which we are all given as we are born into this skin and we have the ability to move our body around and to think with our minds. Truth and reality can be discovered without papers, without pencils, and without laws. It can be discovered in each of us. And this divine right is given to us by the creation itself, what I am calling the divine all. So, to get more to reality and day-to-day business, many of you I think that are listening or might be listening in the future have come to realize these basic concepts. And you are now searching for, what do I actually do in my life? I can't just stop doing everything. How am I going to be able to feed my family? How am I going to be able to feed myself? How am I going to be able to keep a roof over my head? Well, there's no one simple solution. There's a step by step process that we can each go through to stop being part of the evil process. As I said, when I began to listen to Mark Passio's podcasts on What on Earth is Happening, I was also listening to people like Michael Tessarian and David Icke and James Corbett and many other, Larkin Rose, many other speakers about truth and freedom, anarchy. And as I was first discovering all these things, I was actually working for the government and I was getting paid, even though I was a maintenance man, which you might not think is the most terrible thing. I knew that the money I was getting was stolen from other people like myself who had been working hard, just trying to earn their living, just trying to do what they needed to do to get through the next day. But this mass stealing was providing this paycheck. And I realized I couldn't keep living doing that. And it was hurting my conscience. So I managed to be in a position where I was able to quit that job. And this was one of the first times when I've ever quit a job without having another one lined up. And luckily for me at the time, I had some support from a family member who was giving me a little time. And I was able to do that. And it was pretty awesome. And that just goes to show that interconnectedness is extremely important. Having community, having loved ones and other people around us to support us in times of need is crucial. So often we get into disagreements, even about philosophy or what should happen in the world in the coming years or in the coming months, and we find ourselves at odds with our fellow human beings. I will encourage you to remember that you need your fellow human beings in order to make the changes that need to be made so you can reach the desired outcome. So for me to separate more and more from government, I did need some help from friends and family, and I did need some support from other people. I joined a few years later after creating my first podcast and leaving that job, and I've been seeking ever since to do work that's outside of the system of government and taxes. And I haven't been able to 100% do that all these years. But the more I've worked on it, the closer I've come. And in the recent year, I'm almost completely able to get my income without having to go through the normal um, ways where you get your taxes taken right out of your check, because that's the way I was trapped for many years. And this is a form of slavery where you're forced to pay these taxes, and you don't get to decide where that money goes. You don't get to say, like I've wanted to many times, I don't want my money going towards bombing people in other countries. I don't want my money going towards enslaving people for having cannabis, or enslaving people for some silly law that I don't agree with. I don't want my money to go towards these crooked politicians. And yet they still take your money. And if you don't pay them, they threaten to come get you. So obviously, we want to separate from these systems. And this is going to take time and willpower and energy. But this isn't the only thing you can do to make a difference in the world. There are many things we can do. And I think the number one thing, the more I've thought about it and the time I've been making these realizations, since about 2011, 2012 is when I had my major realizations. I've come to realize that the most powerful thing we can do in this time right now is to educate other people. And other people, they don't just want to listen to what you have to say if they don't trust you. And they don't care what you have to say if they don't look up to you and they don't see you as somebody worth listening to. People are so indoctrinated by authority that it's hard for them to listen to anybody if they don't have some sort of important name or title or star on their hat or um, degree. So I want to encourage you to work on your skills in dealing with human beings, dealing with yourself and your own trauma. And some of the ways we can do that are actually in the physical world. And some I want to give you a couple tips that I've discovered in my own self. I mean, I'm far from perfect. I have plenty of problems that I'm still working on. I don't claim to be an authority. I don't claim to be someone that that should tell you exactly how to live your life. But what I can do is give you some advice. And I can give you my life experience and the things I've thought about and come to realize. And one thing I've realized is that we're all traumatized. We're all damaged by these systems of indoctrination that we've grown up in. For me, I was a lot of damage was done in school, being treated as if I don't have an opinion that matters, being treated as if I'm just another student, as if I'm not amazing, valuable, divine being. And oftentimes, the teachers that were telling me what to do or kicking me out of the classroom for asking the wrong question were not recognizing the value that I had to offer, which is a wonderful mind for philosophy, which is a wonderful mind and spirit for teamwork and working with groups. And now later in life, I'm realizing some of these talents I have that were almost extinguished in school that just wanted to teach me to be a worker. So that trauma led, it has come up many times in my life and affected my actions and deeds throughout these years. And I'm still working through the trauma of growing up in these authoritarian systems that tried to smash my spirit. Luckily for me, I never allowed my spirit to be smashed, and I always kept this childlike part of myself that wants to be free. And now, as I've come more into my own, like I said, I'm starting to realize some of my talents and abilities, and now I can share them with you. And so I've had some really good recent wins and accomplishments in meeting other people in the freedom community and finding ways to start doing work for other people that have similar principles and that care about some of the same things I care about. And so it is possible to start to make these changes in your life incrementally. But what you're going to have is times when you have, like I've had some emotional issues where times when my emotions take hold of me and I haven't spoken with people the way I would have liked to. My own children, my own ex wife, oftentimes I was too pushy with the things I was trying to teach. I wanted them to understand natural law. I wanted them to understand the importance of freedom. I wanted them to understand that all government is slavery. I wanted people to understand that religions are a way of binding people to storytelling. And so oftentimes I would get frustrated in conversations and I would try to tell people these things. And instead they would resist and close up. and look at me like someone who was preaching at them and trying to come at them like I knew better than they did. And they would think, who are you to tell me? And so I caused a lot of problems by myself by having these emotional outbursts. And so one thing I've learned is that by getting myself in a better physical shape and mental shape, that I have less of those type of problems. One of the big turning points for me was when I began adding exercise into my daily life. This helped in many ways. It helped me build willpower, it helped me build strength, and it helped me build my confidence in myself. I started simply with doing a few push-ups every morning. I was reading some books that told me that if you do the same action every day for 30 days, it becomes a habit. And once you ingrate a habit, it's almost hard to stop. So I just started doing a few push-ups every morning. And then that led to other exercises. And then I discovered Wim Hof, the Iceman. And I always talk about Wim Hof because at that time when I discovered him, I was having a lot of health problems and I was having to use an inhaler regularly. And I was dealing with so much breathing problems that it was hard for me to sleep often. And I was having anxiety. And when you're feeling anxiety and you're having health problems, it's really hard to be emotionally balanced and to speak with people calmly and to not get frustrated. So for many of us, this whole game is getting ourselves in a place where we're in alignment with our own self and our body's in good enough shape and our mind's in good enough shape that we can be a good person to others around us. So I want to encourage you to work on some exercise, some breathing techniques. You don't have to necessarily do Wim Hof, but I recommend Wim Hof app is a great way to start. I do it every morning. Cold exposure has given me also the ability to have more endurance, to use my willpower. And then another thing I've found that works really well is networking with other people that share your point of view. And so, what I did a few years ago when I first started creating my presentations for the End Evil podcast was I went on Facebook, of all places. I don't even like Facebook, but I started posting my videos there. And I said, I made a video of myself. I just put it out there and I said, I'm looking for other people that want to form a group, that want to work towards natural law and freedom. And now we have this awesome group, the Natural Freedom Alliance, and we've created a funnel conference and the second funnel conference. And we've met many individuals all over this country and even all over the world who are also freedom minded individuals and who also care about principles. And now that I have these other friends, we're creating groups and we're coming up with plans. And each week and each month that go by, I feel a little closer to reaching more people. And so you can do this too. If we educate people, if we care about people enough to explain to them the difference between right and wrong, then they can begin to understand because they see that we're coming from a point of view of caring and not from a point of view of just telling them the way that they're wrong. And we can spend hours and hours looking at all the evil things in the world and all the problems with the existing power structure in place. And it doesn't get us anywhere until we understand morality, until we're all able to understand the importance of being able to defend ourselves and secure the right of the individual. And then beyond that, to understand the interconnectedness of all people and all life. And that includes animals and plants and all of nature. And making our decisions in such a way that it supports what's best for us and others and nature. And sometimes that means making some sacrifice. For me, making this podcast has cost hours and hours of my time that I could have been spending making money. And so I'm not as wealthy as I would like to be. But it's more important to me that I continue trying to get the word out. And you know what is amazing? Many of you have gone through frustration and anxiety. And when you come to realize these problems in the world, they seem so overwhelming. How can we ever do anything about such an overwhelming problem when evil is so wrapped up in every type of society, from Hollywood, like I said, to the schools, to movies we watch. And how can we do anything about it? It can be overwhelming. It can make you feel frustrated. Well, I'll tell you what really helps. when you become part of making the difference, when you start putting your voice and your face and your name in the public and speaking to people straight on and saying, here's what we need to do, and here's what I've done, it really does start making you feel somewhat better. I'm never going to feel completely okay while I know that there's still human trafficking going on and children being treated in the worst ways you can imagine by the evildoers that are in power. But I know that in some small way, these podcasts I'm making and these things I write will make a little difference because I've met other people that have been inspired and affected by my words and my shows. And they've contacted me and said as much. And I really appreciate everyone who takes the time to write to me or to make a little donation to my website, because it makes a world of difference and it fires me up to get out and speak some more. So I'm going to take just a minute here, and I want to show you guys um, some some of my some recent things I've done. I have a let's see, can I get at my screen share? Mm, maybe not. Yes, it's been a minute since I've done a screen share on my technology here. Here it is. Here's what I wanted to show you. I recently put this together. This is my link tree, and my link tree has all the links of the important things that I would like people to look at. And this here, the first one, I'm finally really putting some work into how to make this happen. I struggled with it for quite some time. I wanted to have a regular newsletter to send to people, and I'm finally employing a way to get that going on a, not necessarily daily basis, but I'm going to be sending out emails at least once a week, but probably multiple times a week. And so what I'd like you to do is to go on to the One Great Work Warrior, which is chrisjantzen.com. It's my name, and enter your email address and your first name, and you're going to start receiving emails from me. And basically, what I'm doing is making little videos and trying to inspire people on a day to day basis to do the little daily things I'm describing. Take care of your own body mentally, physically, and spiritually. And then beyond that, we can network with each other and form groups and teams and form resiliency for the problems that are surely coming in this world, because we all know that the masses are still engaged in evil behavior. And the law of freedom teaches that if we put evil in, then we're going to get out a lot of a lot of terrible times ahead. Let me put it that way. We're not going to get a good, happy, harmonious situation when the masses of the world of humans are still engaged in evil activities. So, those of us that are awake and aware, we need to work together and we need to prepare for what's coming. And so, this is one way you can join my group of people, of warriors that are working towards creating the difference in the world, one person at a time and one mind at a time, however long that takes. Okay, so let's go back to the link tree. I got a Discord channel on there. I'd love to see more people in there sharing their work and sharing their thoughts on other people's work. Here's my website and Evil Podcast website. I'm sorely behind on uploading podcasts to there, but I promise I'm going to continue working on that. If you click this, you can give a small donation to End Evil. Right now, I'm working towards getting a GoPro camera that I can take outdoors and show you some of the amazing places I go and some of the things I'm working with local people to create a difference in my own area. This is the Odyssey stream. Hopefully, I'm streaming there right now. If it's working correctly, it was last week. One Great Work Network. We're streaming the One Great Work Network. Thank you so much today to Will Keller for being my producer and making that connection happen. Facebook shut me down today. They don't want to play my restream for some reason because they're lame, retarded. I don't know what's wrong with these platforms. They're going to lose everybody if they keep doing this. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Twitter. If that does any good, I'm not sure. Twitch is actually a great place to watch this show. It seems to work consistently. Every Thursday, I'm doing this show, 6 p.m. Eastern. That's 8 p.m. Central and 9 p.m. Eastern. This year, the Natural Freedom Alliance presents is, I'm going to show you that real quick. That is the freedomundernaturallaw.com. That's where we showcase our work. And this all came from, like I said, just a few people getting together. We started out as a simple support group and we created a conference. Here's the funnel 2 day 1 replay and the funnel 2 day 2 replay. You can click on those and watch all these awesome presentations of all these people you see here below. You can click any one of these cards to see that particular person's presentation. All wonderful people that I've gotten to know and that I think of as family and friends because they are out there doing the great work, each in their own way. And so this is a way to network and join and get together with other like-minded individuals. So you can check that out. I wanted to show you this. I've been getting to know Dr. Andrew Kaufman over the past year, and he is a powerful individual. He also understands natural law, and he's been putting a lot of hard work into teaching people how to heal their own body outside of the traditional allopathic medical system. And he's also breaking down all the BS around the coronavirus and viruses themselves, for instance. And I really reverberate with Andy's teachings. And Dr. Andy will actually, if you sign up for the Alchemical Detox course, you get his amazing modules and you can watch all his life's work he basically put into these teachings. And you get free webinars and you get to be part of a telegram group where he'll actually answer you personally, and as you're studying along in the detox course, help you on your journey. So if you're having health problems or some physical malady, I highly recommend checking out the True Medicine University. If you go through my link here, that helps me out too. Then I'll get a little donation for bringing you his way. And that is the same goes true with autonomy, which I'm a graduate of autonomy, and I learned to do some of the work that I do for Andrew Kaufman and for autonomy through this amazing course put together by Richard Grove and Joshua. They do a wonderful job of teaching you. You get courses, unbelievable amount of information. And this will help you on your entrepreneurial path to help you separate from the bullshit government and the bullshit jobs that are stealing your money and stealing your time. And you can learn to be a high producing individual with these type of resources. And again, I would encourage you to go through my website or through my link, because that gives me a little affiliate help, and they appreciate knowing that I'm bringing them business. And if each of us in our own right are putting our time and energy into this great work, there's no reason why we can't find a way to get paid for it. You know, um, I don't think these bills we're using are a good thing, because this whole money system is basically owned by evildoers. But that being said, it's what we have right now. A lot of people are teaching ways of how to go over to Bitcoin and to different types of currency. And I would encourage you to study up on those things. But for the time being, we got to take whatever little steps we can in our life, and whatever's accessible to you and the things that you understand, start there. Just don't sit on your hands because it seems overwhelming. There are things we can do day to day. I just showed you a bunch of links, things you could do. Donate to podcasters that are putting out good work. Take some time to go in the chat and share your own thoughts and opinions on things that are positive and constructive. Take some time to write to someone who's inspired you and tell them, thank you for inspiring me. That gives them the power to keep going forward. Like I said, I'm working every day and every week to bring more good things to people. And so the little tiniest donation goes a long way. But I'd much rather see people, even over donating, Get involved yourself. Start helping educate other people um, in your realm, and whoever you can reach on your social platforms, on your YouTube page, whatever you have. Speak out whenever possible. People in your neighborhood, help them with things. Help them. You see an elderly person carrying something heavy, help them carry it. Be a good person, show positive deeds in the world. Then people begin to trust you a little. And then when they hear you speaking, they're more likely to listen to what you have to say. So that's my little long drawn out speech I gave today. And then now what I'm going to do is go over to a pre-recorded show that a good friend of mine, I recently had an opportunity to meet up with Derek, who is also another content creator. And he's been putting out some great work. And Derek happened to be in the Bay Area as I was heading down that way. And we connected on social media. And we've connected on some online discussions. And we got to meet in person. And it was awesome. Again, whenever you meet up with people online and you network with people and then you actually meet them in real life, it's like, wow, there are other people out there in the world that are trying to make a difference and that care about principles and that care about first principles. And when you meet these people and we, give them a hug and share each other's work, there's this wonderful thing that goes along together. Today I had a little great discussion with James Cordner, and he's restreaming my show tonight on his channels. That's the type of thing we do for one another. We encourage one another. We help one another out in our great work process. And when we do that, we help build this school for the future. So future generations don't have to live through the slavery that we're living through. They'll have our work to look at, to build upon, just like I built upon the work of Mark Passio, and he built his work on people like David Icke and his influencers. And so, I hope you're encouraged and inspired. And I know you're going to love this video by Derek. I'm going to cut in and I'm going to cut out.
Operator recenter. Transport main matter. Operator.
Regions of the universe, Deltron zero and automated. Check it. Upgrade to gray matter. Cause one day it may matter. Hey, time for you to upgrade. Fuck same time to load. All my rhymes are sold and find your own. Salivate over what I collaborate with high-tech wizardry and breathe new life into the industry.
You see that shit? To the 32nd degree double-headed eagle.
Becoming more civilized.
What does it
We
mean?
shall finally arrive
What do I mean?
at a higher civilization of the race as a whole.
We can do better, right?
San Francisco. Day 2, scenic driving towards Half Moon Bay. No sleep, caffeine, and I mean secondhand nicotine fade. 4-foot waves over the porch, eating pitas of MF Doomsday.
Well, hey there, bonjour. We are at Half Moon Bay. Oh shit, did I say we? I already spoiled the surprise. Well, it ain't gonna last long anyways. I'm with a good new friend that I made recently, Chris Jantzen. He's got his website, YouTube channel, all that stuff, endevil.org or .com, I forget. Endevil now, shit. But yeah. Finally meeting up with some super conscious cats, having some great conversations, just walking on the beach, airing some things out, and we're looking to just bring forth ideas and inspiration on like innovation and things of that nature, and keeping the laws of nature fully hermetically sealed in these approaches to life. You gotta love that shit, yo. Don't you? Hey Chris, I found you, man. How you doing, brother?
It's amazing. Turn a little philosophy at the sea.
Yeah, man. This guy, man. So many great ideas. So, a couple of days ago, been bringing this up this whole like Renaissance, man. Where's the Nikola Teslas? Where's the Da Vinci's? Where's the even like the Sherlock fucking Holmes? You know, shit's got to be investigated even more these days. And yeah, man.
I was thinking a lot about what really inspires us, and part of like being here and being outdoors and finding the things that help us really grow and express that part of ourselves that can get in touch with our intuitive self and our deep being and connecting with that divine part of ourselves is really getting away, finding ourselves to focus on this and real people and doing things in person with our own body and our own engaging our whole self. And that requires persistent effort these days because there's always a pull to be on the screens and, you know, just caught up in the day-to-day in so many ways with work, job, career, stresses. But it really takes like a physical effort to be in the places and to focus on the type of things that give us that creative urge and that connection to what's real.
Yeah, just being more connected with yourself in a sense. And I loved what you were saying before, and yeah, like we all make videos and this and that. Sometimes it can be depressing if we're not feeling like we're reaching out to as many folks as we were dreaming about. Oh yeah, not like we need $1 million views. It's just, you know, pulling away from that a little bit and just working on creating your proper content within yourself more or less, and just like, yeah, finding the time to, you know, help yourself more. Because yeah, Krista said it so well, like, you know, like we can't necessarily like help people all the time, you know, the whole, you know, leading a horse to water but you can't make him drink it, that kind of stuff. And like what you said was, you know, rings so true and beautiful of like how you're able to help yourself so much to the point where it's just like rippling out and like everyone's like a co-benefactor of that. Co-beneficiary, whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
either way, I think that works.
Yeah, man.
I think I really like the analogy of you could teach someone, you could give somebody a fish, but you'd be much better off to teach them how to fish. And
we both want to learn how to fish, right? We're not that good.
I don't really know. Yeah. It's funny too.
Yeah, dude.
And you know, like I don't want to try to be what's the like analogy of Jesus? He was supposed to be like a fisherman of men, right?
Oh, yeah.
But
The age of
like,
Pisces.
if you're really good at fishing and you're out there pulling in fish, and someone else sees that, then they might want to learn from you, and they might be inspired to fish themselves.
Yeah, sure. Even if
So-
they're vegan.
Yeah, I'm going too far on this analogy.
I'm just kidding.
I don't even like fish.
Yeah. But no, it brings up a great point for sure. It's a universal,
Yeah.
like moral type of story.
I guess I was trying to say is like I don't feel like I can wake people up. I don't think that's something I'm really trying to do. I'm trying to wake up myself and release this part of myself that has a lot to communicate, has a lot to offer, but it's not for the purpose of getting someone to realize something or waking somebody up. Yeah, I would love that to happen, but that's like its own thing that happens. Like a plant that propagates seeds, the seeds have to sprout themselves, and the conditions have to be right, and all the other things have to happen. It's not like the plant's job to make the other plants grow. It's just its job to grow the seeds and spread them, and then the wind spreads them, right?
Yeah.
This analogy is a good idea.
No. This is fucking awesome, dude. It's the mental landscaping gardener over here, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude. Cultivating beautiful seeds of thought. I love that shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's just we can be a catalyst to someone to like, you know, take that seed and run with it, and have it grow in their mental garden, and maybe it'll crack that ceiling of the crystallized, you know, ignorance or ego or whatever the hell. And yeah, like, it's funny you were mentioning earlier today, like how you might have to take like an hour having a conversation with someone that you just met, just to like maybe find a in-way into like, you know, getting a truth seed up in there or something like that, right?
Yeah.
You think like a conscious approach, man. That's cool.
Just getting trust with people. You know, like if people consistently recognize that you're someone who is okay to be around, and actually you make them, they always leave feeling good after they hang out with you, and you do that over and over a while. Finally, you might be in the position where they could ask you, like, hey, what does your shirt mean? You know, what is that?
Yeah,
what is Lex Rex? Or, you know, why do you have this shirt about anarchy? What do you mean by anarchy? Why are you talking about that? You know, then you have the opportunity to answer their question, and they're curious because they asked. You know, but the mistake I used to always make was like I was trying to reach people, I was trying to tell them stuff, and then they just throw up all these resistances, and I get resistances, and we get emotional. It turns into like a disagreement, and people lose friends, right? Well, that could have been an opportunity if we were just calmer and more patient, and we just like we're working on ourselves and just being physically in the best shape, healthy in the best shape, throwing out lyrics with rhymes that talk about truths and freedoms and that make people go like, why are you talking about that? Why are you making up a rap about that? Well, you know, then they're asking.
Yeah.
Because they want to know. They want to know, why are you so vibrant? You know?
Yeah.
I think that's the way to go. I'm finding more effective use of my time and energy that way. But I have a lot more trouble, honestly, watching videos and getting into more content too, because I want to be out here jumping in the ocean or climbing some rocks.
You should have seen him an hour ago.
Might get back in one more.
Yeah. Wim Hofing it. Dude, that's fucking awesome, man. Yeah, and it rings a bell with my friend like talking about similar things, and like just we've all been there, triggering people in real life or on the internet and stuff like that, and it just turns into like a tirade of like projections and whatever in Discord. But yeah, like you said, a way of looking at it, like the masculine and feminine energy is like being in that yin energy, like attracting someone to like what you're about and making that like more digestible or something like that, or something that they're willing to inquire about a little bit more than your average, like just that guy it's probably like a right winger or whatever, conspiracy theorist, whatever kind of stereotype they got, right? So they'll see the anarchy shirt and be like, oh, this guy, or whatever. Like, like, oh wait, dude, that guy's actually hella fucking cool, man. Like, I actually want to know why he likes anarchy at the same time. It seems like a weird thing. Just at my worldview sees anarchy as something chaotic or whatever, but this guy seems peaceful as fuck, even more than me, kind of thing, So
yeah, kind of draw him in, and that's not the purpose. The purpose is for me to grow what I want to be and what I want to do, which is talk about things that are awesome, like freedom, and to feel healthy and to feel vibrant, and to be able to do things other people can't do, because I have a network of friends that don't waste our time with useless paperwork and laws that don't mean anything anyway.
Yeah, right.
And we're more effective. We need to be able to show that we're more effective at doing business, communicating, and having groups. And if we're all on the same page of objective morality, then we should be better at those things. And people should be like, damn, I want to have friends like those guys have, where they can really trust each other and they don't have to, go through all this extra insurance issues just to hang out and have a good time.
Yeah, and like people want to do these breakaway societies and this and that. Like, what are the foundations? Like, what are the principles? Like, what's everyone's spiritual in their own right, and that's cool. Like, get down with your awakened state and keep going at it, because like I was gonna say, like, wow, the way you speak, you seem pretty awake and aware of things, but you're like, I'm still waking up, and of course it's a fucking process. We're climbing mountains, and like you said earlier, it's like, oh, you get over that one, oh, there's the next one, type of thing. Like, yeah, it's
like
a process.
You get to the top of one mountain, that just means now you got to go down to go up the next one, which means you got learning to do. And if I ever come across as sounding like I know it all, then stop listening to me, because I obviously don't know shit if I'm acting like I know it all. I should be acting like, oh, I got a lot to learn, because that's how we all need to be acting, because that's the only state of mind that's going to help us get to the endless next level that's out there to be, it's not levels. Like, we shouldn't even think of it as levels. We just think of it as constant growth factor. What would that be? CG, constant growth factor.
CG is the place to be.
Plants or animals, they don't ever stop striving. to survive and thrive.
Yeah.
They're constantly just trying to get what they can get to the next place.
Yeah.
Survive through the next day,
Yeah, and it's like, so bring it to today's time with men, or just like people in general, we become so complacent and lazy because like everything's fucking automated and done for us, It's like we lost that tenacity in a sense, going back to the medieval times, ancient times, where they had to like spend half their days like preparing meals, shelter, and like the basic necessities for fucking survival. They didn't have time to sit back and watch any kind of Netflix or whatever, right? So
I think
man.
part of the about the monks, like a lot of the discipline was doing the actual chores, was going and carrying the buckets of water, or stoking the fire. And in my experience, like things like chopping wood or digging are very meditative. And they actually, that's when I get inspiration for walking in nature, because that's when you are able to connect with the divine aspect of yourself, because you're being like conscious and awake and aware, because you're doing something and you're connecting the physical to the mental, and it all lines up.
Yeah, and for men especially, it seems like pretty important for us to have that kind of, especially like outlet for emotions, anger, just like any kind of built up energy or blocked energy, or bottled up energy, something like that, something that's stuck, even just like exercising and that kind of, some kind of fucking hobby where you're being something physical or having like strong moments of focus or concentration or whatever, anything that gets you into that meditative mind state, and is therapeutic and kind of helps soothe out any kind of tense whatever.
Actually, you want to do one round of Wim Hof breathing?
Yeah, sure.
Because my hands are getting a little cold.
All right, yeah.
It would actually help me out to do it. It kind of would be best to sit down though.
Okay.
A little more comfortably. Smooth location.
All right, yeah. Be right back.
If I get stuck in a blizzard and I'm freezing cold with no transport, I will use my powers to heat my solar plexus and keep my hands warm. Don't be small-minded, you cowards. Embrace your powers, stand tall. You can manifest anything using your mind and imagination, I'm damn sure. Positive intentions key, no negativity or bad thoughts. Just change your diet and do some meditating and watch your life transform. Powers.
All right.
What's up?
That was cool. Wait, hold on. Fuck.
Raise the frequency, happy to see me. Are you ready for a holistic view?
Wow. That reminded me of like the DMT or Kundalini type of breathing techniques. Just like really super profound, deep breaths at a nice steady pace. But just like
tingles a little bit.
Up in the crown chakra, just like the solar plexus is like huge. Yeah, man. Like.
Yeah, I was telling Derek I do like 4 rounds of 50 breaths each morning. It takes about half an hour. And when I first started doing this, I could only hold on the breath holds like for like maybe a minute and a half. And now I do regularly 3 minutes. I've done 4 minutes. I've even had closer to 5 minutes breath
Held
holds.
your breath for 5 minutes, man.
Yeah. Seems impossible.
Yeah, wow.
It's, like the more you practice it, the more you can do it. And it gives me, I feel like, a lot of health advantages overall.
Yeah. Like you said, you had a breathing thing?
Well, yeah, when
before,
I first started doing it, I was using an inhaler because I would get all this phlegm and have to cough all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was allergies.
Huh.
I never really figured it out, but I did find that ever since I've been consistently doing the Wim Hof breathing, that problem's like gone. I don't even have that allergy problem anymore.
Fuck yeah, dude. And we're going to live to around, at least 150 years old.
That's
and shit like that.
I think 150 is possible.
Yeah, but...
That's the way I'm going to program my mind, because I think a lot of it's how we program ourselves.
Yeah.
If people say, oh, you're going to die when you're 70, then just start kind of saying that to yourself. And you think, I probably only got 20 more. Oh, I'm getting old, right? And we say those things every day in our mind. What if we say instead, hey, who knows how long I might live? The body's self-healing. It's amazing.
Yeah, regenerative and all that stuff.
Give it a chance. It can probably do better than you think.
I was lowballing it, man, because even for a couple of years, I was telling people like, I plan to live to about 114 years old. Just because I feel just that life force energy within me. I feel like such a youthful spirit that's gonna carry on for a long time and break these fucking age stereotypes and all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, age ain't nothing but a number, and until you start feeling it when your health declines and all that shit, you know. So yeah, a breath technique is something so, it could be part of your daily habitual ritual. It's not the most spiritual, but holy shit, that'll wake you up more than some coffee.
Yeah. You know, and it can't hurt any time just to be conscious of breathing.
Yeah.
Think about it. And that's just a good meditative habit that will carry you through stress in your day. But I do feel like the breath holds, it helps me learn to calm myself down.
Yeah.
And at times of stress, if I just hold my breath for a little bit, it kind of reminds my body like, oh yeah, we can stay calm. We don't need to be like, you know, beating our heart real fast right now. And it kind of reminds your body like, great, grounded. So I recommend good anytime practice. Just be conscious of your breathing.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, man. Wise words from a wise man. We'll be back after these messages.
All right, cool.
Very nice.
All right.
That's no.
Yeah.
That's not a GoPro.
What is it?
That's not a GoPro.
No.
It's a low pro. Look at how low profile that is now.
Yeah.
It's chilling. It's a low pro.
Yeah. I'm just trying to understand what his t-shirt means.
I'm just trying to figure out his Oh, damn.
Dude, Lex Rex, man. What's up with that?
Natural law, baby.
Yeah, buddy. All right. Hermetically sealed shit.
Universal moral laws, the only law by which we're bound. And if we want freedom, we must accept what's objectively so, that we collectively reap what we collectively sow. That's how it goes. That's why I put the truth forth and all I bring. What goes around comes around. Lex Rex, natural laws.
Man, that's a really cool hat you have. What is it? Yeah.
Yeah. Cool hat.
That crow. What you know?
If the inside's even cooler than the outside.
Yeah. Damn, man. Where can I get one?
Yeah.
After the fact moment passes, when you have no clarity, maneuver passes carefully, one day at a time faithfully, ace in the hole, successful, watch where all the rest go. When it's really time to let go, they gotta keep it going strong. The water knowing it's passed straight through the darkness out the pastor. In this moment I'm a master of momentum in my cerebellum and my solar plaster. Builds universal housing for the time being at moments like this. I only trust natural laws and follow intuition. Not man-made flaws, I involve non-fiction.
Well, that concludes a really cool day. Oh yeah, it was fun up in the bay. That's all I gotta say. Like what?
I ain't staying calm, fuck the game, I can't play along. Never been to war, but it still feels like we staying numb. Poverty's like napalm, destroying civilization. From corporate domination to cutting off communication. But I ain't gonna share what's on my mind online. I'd rather do it eye to eye and witness your expression. Computers can try, but I can't rely on their direction. The human race learns from mistakes, but wants perfection. I stay alive for questions, the answers get me amplified. I can't abide by laws full of flaws and facades. What you expect when we're taught effects, but never the cause. Just to get better jobs, roll with the punches and dodge. I hold my hunches that God must have his hands tied, or else why is wickedness winning by a landslide? I never understood why my man died. Just how my relationship with all expanded on the inside. In that light, within I fight to keep connectedness. More alike than different, but still separate from the hecticness. Divide and conquer, that's the model, this role model, but doesn't go with what's inside my soul, so I don't follow. I walk my own path and keep my own pace, and feel great when I relate to people in the same state. Divide and conquer, that's the model, this role model, but doesn't go with what's inside my soul, so I don't follow. I walk my own path and keep my own pace.
right, another